All right, we're on time that is, and at 30, let's do it at 30 seconds. Just to keep it clean.
Is there a time dot was?
We'll check after this. Hold on.
I'm going to make you lose your mind.
Going to?
Nice.
All right, we got it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to time.was now. Does not seem to be a URL. Hold on.
Nope. Wait, is there
bad?
a time dot will be?
All right, let's get this
No, there
recording
isn't.
started. My son just woke up, so Alexa's about to be on solo baby duty.
Oh, that was exciting. My audio jumped back to my phone from my Bluetooth headphones. That was exciting.
Oh, good lord.
Welcome
Welcome back to our second attempt to start a podcast.
Yeah, so this is episode
Welcome back
6B.
to Technical Difficulties with the
Episode
cast of
six-
A Court of Bros and Broses.
Episode 6A is Lost to Time. This is episode 6B. This is A Court of Bros and Broses. This is a podcast where three straight men make their maiden voyage through Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, and as we said before, maybe learn something along the way. I think we had some comments on that. My name is Nirav, and I am going to be your host as always, joined by my co-hosts, Joe and Patrick.
Hello.
Hello,
Man.
I am Joe B.
I am Joe A.
Okay, you
Wait,
said
no,
Joe
I'm
B,
Patrick.
and yeah, so that's not like your last initial though, so that won't help people find you.
It is not my last initial, or is it?
No, it might be. Yeah,
He's just the second Joe. There was another. So the last few episodes were actually Joe A. That didn't work out. So this is Joe B.
All right, so look, I'm having some technical difficulties because my fucking headphones decided that they don't want to work or do anything. So here we are. But we're back in it now, baby.
You're also having technical difficulties because you are sick. So you're having body technical difficulties.
My body's also having technical difficulties. That's true. Yeah, I was so sick today that I...
How sick were you?
Yeah, thank you. I was waiting for... like, I woke up at 7:30 and I, had to literally crawl to the bathroom. And then, even at, I woke up again at, 10 o'clock and I, couldn't even get to my work phone to, email my boss and tell him I was dying. I was, I don't think I felt that weak, ever, maybe. But,
Dang.
then I slept for about...
I just like the image of your cat looking at you, just thinking, this fucking drama queen.
Yeah, she said, I went to sleep again, and she, sat on my chest, like she always done. I was no, I can't breathe, please. But
Just
it's too
like
weak.
that.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, no, I'm feeling a lot better now, just a little stuffed up and everything. All right, and I had some soup. Soup is good for you, usually. I guess there's also bad soup.
I've not had bad soup, I don't think. That's not true. I can't commit to that. I've for sure had bad soup.
Okay, anyway, sorry. We're going to be covering chapters 20 through 22 today, I believe, of A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yep.
And
the Fyre Festival, baby.
The Fyre Festival. We want to say up front that if you haven't read these books before, just content warning, there's going to be a lot of discussion of sexual assault in these chapters, so be prepared for that.
We're probably not going to dwell on those themes. However, it might come up.
Yeah, I mean that's most of what's going to happen these first two chapters. But regardless, let's go ahead and get into it. So, the last thing that happened before this, I believe, was that they met that weird crazy lady, right?
Well, isn't the last thing that happened? They saw a kind of an ominous figure in the garden.
Yeah,
it was
that's what I
Tamlin
meant.
and Lucian were in a garden, and there's an invisible fairy, at least someone that she couldn't see, just a voice talking to the two of them, and kind of just vaguely mentioning a woman that scared both Tamlin and Lucian.
Yeah,
that was kind of this. Yeah, the
Just
big bad that has been referenced.
Vaguely threatening them.
We honestly completely forgotten anything up to this. Those last chapters I had listened to legitimately on 2x speed. So I did not really.
Oh, yeah. Note on that. I did set it up. I set it at 1.2 speed this time, and it actually the narration sounds a lot better now. Like, I was like, oh, this is like how a normal person would like, the pacing at which you would talk.
I've been at 1.2 this entire time. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
until
nice.
Joe brought that up, and I looked at my phone. And I was like, oh, I am at 1.2, I guess.
So yeah, don't check it out.
1.5 is still recommended if you're going to listen to the audiobook. 1.5 is...
I just feel like I'm going to miss a lot of stuff if I do that, though.
There's not much to miss. She's an empty-headed protagonist.
To be fair, you did literally just say that you missed the entire last 3 chapters and you don't remember what happened.
Don't throw my words back at me.
Yeah. Okay, so we are coming to a part where we're going to be going to the Fyre Festival, so I think that she hears about that it's going to be happening the next night, and...
Ja Rule's going to be there.
Ja Rule's there.
The marketing for Fyre Festival's been off the hook. It's been crazy. Just been seeing posters hung up around the castle.
I don't remember what else happened at this real Fyre Festival. Wasn't it like nobody like who was supposed to perform showed up or something?
I don't know. It was an absolute travesty.
Just tense.
There were 2 documentaries about it. I didn't watch either of them.
What?
Are you saying that there were 2 documentaries, or that I didn't watch either of the documentaries?
You didn't watch them. They're the best. There are no victims at all. Anybody that got scammed by that deserved it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I've heard they're great. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Anyway, so DJ Khaled's going to be there, and she sees that there's basically a bunch of like fire, drum beats, etc., etc. So Tamlin's like, hey, remember all the weird shit that you've seen and the stuff that has continuously proved over and over to you that you don't know anything about this world or how to interact with it? Please go hide in your room tonight, and trust me when I tell you not to come out, because of the insane shit that's going to happen that I can't explain to you for reasons I just mentioned. And Fyre is
to be fair, he probably could have said a little more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was extremely vague. And like, he's been in, to Fyre's point, yes, she's seen a lot of weird shit. But to his point, he's been living with this woman who constantly disobeys him. And if he gives her any kind of reason to go against what he says, she will do it. So he probably should have given her a little more than, hey, just don't do this.
I know, but it's like having a dog that keeps trying to throw itself into a wood chipper. Like, I mean, what do you do?
Gosh.
You turn off the wood chipper, or you do something. Literally anything else. Give her some sort of warning. But this is peak Fyre stupidity, though. Like, it doesn't justify what would have happened to her, but it is still the dumbest fucking thing I think she has done to this point.
I think, not to be a big Fyre defender here, but I think Tamlin could have been like, listen, if you go to this thing, you're going to be killed because of the amount of fairies there or whatever. I don't know, something, anything. Because even Lucian, when Lucian, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but Lucian does explain it to her later.
Yeah. But yeah, just
the
whole point.
Okay, I will concede. Sure. Okay, I will concede Tamlin could have been a little more specific, but at the same time, like, if I'm Fyre, I've seen so much insane shit, and like these invisible monsters, and like the fucking Sorial, and like the Nagas and everything. If someone told me like, hey, there's gonna be some crazy shit happening tonight, stay in your room and don't come out, I would be like, yes, sir.
Yeah, but also, I mean, if you're
you and I would.
But if you're Fyre, you have a 32 IQ.
That's true. 32 might be...
And a 32 IQ and just a remarkable sense of wonder.
A remarkable sense of wonder. Yeah, so basically, Fyre is like, all right, I'll go sit in my room. And then about 4 minutes later, she's like, I'm bored. And then she starts feeling drawn towards the...
no, well, she's even like mad. She's like pouting. So like,
that was something I noticed.
That like, they didn't get invited. They get to have all this fun without me. You know, what's all this about? That's
right. So
what the fuck?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it seems
him.
like two things. It seems like two things are happening separately. Which is, one, she's like, I can't believe they didn't invite me to their fucking Fyre Festival. And then, second, she's like, the magic is calling me there. I'm like, which one is it?
Could be a little both. Column A, column B. She's pouty, she didn't get invited, and then she's feeling the drums calling to her or whatever, the magic. She's hearing the beat of the drums, and she's like, "Yeah, I want to."
Dude, I've definitely been in. Yeah, I know that feeling. I've been in the club before. I hear the drums calling me.
She's listening to these drums. She's like, "If this is just the opener, what's the cover band? What's the headliner going to be? This I gotta see."
In my headcanon, the person playing the drums is DJ Ravi Drums, who was that drummer that did an 8-minute solo to open a Nintendo Direct many years ago.
The Wii Music?
Yes, the Wii Music guy. Yes.
Absolutely.
Who then went to perform for Trump's inauguration. So that's exciting.
What? Hold on. Actually, no, I don't want to talk about this, but that's wild.
That is wild.
I was thinking it was going to be Animal the Muppet playing the drums.
I kind of like
I like that actually. Concert. No, that's better. I like Animal playing the drums. Okay, it's Animal playing the drums at the Fyre Festival. Love that.
Did you know Animal also opened for Trump though at a rally?
Oh
no,
I didn't want to know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Fyre rolls out.
You got beasted.
Fyre rolls out to this. I would never believe for a second that any of the Muppets would go anywhere near that dude.
I think the Hensons are probably pretty right-leaning, to be fair, but that's a sidebar. That's a different podcast. That's our Muppets. That's our Muppets politics podcast.
Hensons don't own Muppets anymore. Yeah, it's Disney.
Although was it Jim Henson like the most like hippie guy ever?
Yeah, Jim Henson was a huge hippie, so I don't know about that.
Who knows? All right.
Yeah,
so,
anyways, she rolls out to the Fyre. She rolls out to Fyre Fest, and she's like, "What is this? People just hanging out? This is lame. Where's the food?
Right.
Somebody find Ja.
So she gets out to this cave, and she sees tons of fairies. It seems like there's sort of a like whimsical sort of like, what am I trying to say? Like a weird like sparkling sort of magic in the air. And then Fyre is as she's kind of like walking around aimlessly. She's surrounded by 3 fairies who are definitely not putting off bad vibes.
Yeah, it's not really clear what the intention of these 3 fairies are until later, unfortunately. I mean, later you learn what and it's gross. But at the time, I'm like, oh, what are these fairies up to? Maybe they're gonna like, because I don't know about you guys.
I thought the intention was pretty clear from the start.
In my wildest dreams, at least for me, in my wildest dreams, I didn't think big orgy was where this was going. I didn't know where it was going, but I didn't think like. I
hard disagree. I immediately felt like that's what was happening.
I thought it was like a sacrificial thing. When they kept talking, so for me, I was reading like, when they're talking about like, ooh, we're going to have some fun with you later because you're a human, I was like, oh shit, she just rolled up in some weird human sacrificial thing. That's why Tamlin didn't want her here, because they're going to be a bunch of humans here. They eat for whatever reason. I don't know. I thought it was all about like fairies eating humans or something like that.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
And it took a much more, almost I would say worse turn.
Yeah, I would say that sexual assault... You know what? I'm not going to get into the conversation of what's worse. That's not. I'm not going to get into that conversation. But they're both bad. But it definitely took a very dark turn with that.
It was a very quick turn too. Like I remember I was like taking a walk when I was listening to this, and I was just like, I just kind of like stopped on the sidewalk. I'm like, what's happening right now? Really?
So I was like, whoa. Before we get to that, I guess we should mention that. So she was surrounded by these 3 fairies. She tried shaking herself free and then realized that she is a tiny baby human, and there are 3 very strong fairies. But then some other fairy rolls up, who she describes as, quote, the most handsome person she's ever seen in her entire life.
Yep.
And scares his other 3 fairies off. And he's like so handsome, she's intimidated. It's like she doesn't know how to react around him because he's so handsome.
Pause here. Which actor are we getting to play this guy? Who's the most handsome person ever?
Who's the most handsome? What? Oh my gosh! No, if anything, he's one of the 3 fairies that surrounded her.
Jesus.
Well, who's the most handsome? Honestly, you know what comes to my mind is kind of Henry Cavill. I'm not sure if Henry Cavill is the number 1 most handsome guy, but I could definitely see Henry Cavill, like, because she describes this guy as like tall, strong, like kind of like a good build on him, and like kind of I imagine like a very traditional chiseled feature handsome man. I think Henry Cavill fits that pretty well. So imagine her like bumping into a large chest and like, oops, it's Henry Cavill, and this large man scares his other 3 guys off, and he's just handsome. That's in my head. I'm like, that makes sense.
Okay, I can roll with that.
I could see Cavill. I don't know. I'm not feeling Cavill for this, to be honest. I'm just not.
I think
I could see. You know what? I could see a Michael B. Jordan.
Oh
yeah, Michael B. Jordan would be good.
The thing is, I feel
how big is Michael B. Jordan?
I think he's got because this guy also was giving off like very sinister vibes, but also like he had some real riz to him too.
I'm not getting sinister. I'm getting a lot of charisma, but also Michael B. Jordan has a lot of charisma. I could see that too.
I don't know if this is like the reality of it, but like I feel. And maybe it's just because I'm relating it to Twilight a lot in my head. But, like, I feel like the fairies are all, like, they're very, like, pretty. You know what I mean?
I guess. Yeah, I guess I can see that.
I mean, like, I don't know
honestly,
if that's the case.
I imagine the high fae resembling mostly just humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, dude, Michael B. Jordan's also, he's, like, pretty hot. Like, not... using the word pretty, he's hot pretty. You know what I'm saying? If you look at him, you give him like spiky ears. It's an elf right there.
Okay, I like that. All right. Anyway,
he's also number 4 on this hot people list I looked at.
And I was also thinking of. Oh, you're actually looking at lists. I'm just pulling things off the top of my head. I was thinking Pedro Pascal too. Pedro Pascal.
He's not very pretty though. He's just got got that rugged thing going on.
No, he's got the rugged handsome.
He's rugged.
Ooh, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac could be pretty good.
Still that though. Like I'm thinking about like a K-pop boy. You know what I mean? Like one of these like real pretty boys.
See, I'm not imagining a pretty boy.
No,
I'm imagining
not pretty,
like a really like a really ruggedly handsome like.
Okay.
She sees this guy and she's taken aback. She's never seen anyone this handsome in her life.
I'm typing in most handsome actors.
Channing Tatum, like prime Channing Tatum in the middle of Magic.
See, I
put
Henry Cavill. I put Henry Cavill in the same category as Channing Tatum. That same kind of like they have that same look.
Here's a definitive. This says the definitive list: top 100 most handsome actors of all time.
All right,
it's a definitive list.
Hit us with it.
It's not ranked or anything, so it just has like a bunch of people here. Let me see who's at the top though.
You know who'd be good? I know this is a pretty vanilla answer, but Chris Evans. I'm thinking Chris Evans specifically in Knives Out. He has that handsome look, but also he's got that kind of like, to your point, I forgot who said it, but that kind of like they got something going on. Like they're not just a goody two shoes. He can be like this kind of like, all right, something sus about you, but also you're handsome. Chris Evans can play that role. He played that role in Knives Out really well.
On that vein, though, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
kind of getting that like, kind of that off. Like, there's something wrong here, but like, I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah, I don't personally think Bradley Cooper's that like ruggedly handsome, but I'm sure there are people are who feel that way.
Okay, I was thinking about Mahershala Ali also, handsome fellow.
Oh, that's good too.
All right. Anyway, I don't remember why we are doing this. All right. So the next thing,
we're just talking about handsome men, obviously.
Look,
we're casting guys, who we think this mysterious, attractive stranger is.
If you have seen our demographics, I looked at our demographics today. By the way, shout out, we have 175 listens now. So thank you guys. Dope. That feels good.
What's our demographic? Because I feel like our demographic would like to hear 3 straight men talking about which other male celebrities they think are hot. Because to me, that sounds right down the middle of what our demographic would be.
It does. And yes, our demographic listeners are 90% female. So like not even a little bit split up. And also ages 27 to 34 is like almost all of our listeners.
So if you want, we can just scrap the next 2 chapters and the 3 of us can talk about the most attractive male celebrities for the next 30 minutes.
That's fine with me. How do you guys feel about... See, like...
I was thinking Paul Rudd.
John Cho. I like him a lot. Hold on.
John Cho's great. Paul Rudd does not have that... Don't get me wrong. Paul Rudd is handsome.
You wouldn't cast him as a fairy, though.
Dude, what if this is his serious turn, though? What if we take Paul Rudd into the dramatic realm, and he's no longer the funny guy? He's just the weirdly charismatic, probably evil guy. But also,
well, Paul Rudd is very charismatic, but not in like the I'm intimidated by how good looking you are charismatic. Paul Rudd's the kind of charismatic where I want to be his best friend. He's like the golden retriever charismatic.
True. Fair. But also, were you all getting from this character that this is going to be the third piece of the love triangle down the road?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I don't know about third. I mean, it's very obvious this character is going to be coming back in a big way. That's basically all.
There's no way they're going to describe this guy as the most handsome person Fyre's ever seen, and this dude doesn't come back to try and get for her to try and get with. No way, he's going to be back.
Okay, now that we're doing this in this context, in my head, now I'm going to make him Robert Pattinson, and Tamlin is Taylor Lautner.
I feel I feel like Tamlin is specifically like he's kind of got that kind of like a little bit skinny thing going on though. Like he's got the tone but not the bulk.
Oh, Tamlin being skinny? No, I imagine him with he's got the beast. He got that beast parallel. So I imagine him being.
I wouldn't describe him as a beefy boy though. Do you think he is a beefy boy?
I for sure think of Tamlin as being an absolute unit.
Yeah,
super buff.
No, honestly, for me, Henry Cavill is what I would more closely associate with Tamlin.
Really?
That's not bad. I could see that. What about Chris Hemsworth in one of these two roles? Chris Hemsworth is a really super handsome dude, very built. Ooh. I know I'm picking off Avengers right now, but that's what my brain goes to. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
if we get him from Thor: Love and Thunder, the biggest he's ever been, put him as Tamlin.
Yeah. Yes.
Really?
I could see that.
I feel like this guy,
honestly,
you know what?
Henry Cavill, I don't like this.
Yeah, but it's bad, but it'd be so good.
No, gosh, doesn't Mark Wahlberg have really problematic? Nah, I don't want to.
Well,
yeah, he's awful, but he'd be hilarious.
All I will say is that if I had $1 for every time Mark Wahlberg attacked a Vietnamese man in a parking lot unprompted, I would have $2.
Gosh, that's so rough.
Yeah, it called him a bunch of racial slurs. Yeah,
I like Henry Cavill as Tamlin, and then Chris Hemsworth as new mysterious handsome guy. That's in my mind. I like that.
Yeah. Or what about Jensen Ackles or Jared Padalecki?
Oh shit,
maybe Jensen.
I like Jensen Ackles getting in on this too. Actually, he would be really good.
Jared Padalecki's got too nice of a face. He doesn't give off that. I don't know. This guy's got more
he's got sort of a.
He's too nice. He's got a puppy golden retriever face. To your point, it's just not. It's not the hot
Jensen
we're going
Ackles?
For. Jared Padalecki.
Oh, Jared Padalecki. Jensen Ackles with a beard though. He's got that rugged look to him.
Dude,
yeah,
in the boys, holy shit, this dude. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. That look. That's a good look.
One of the worst decisions in cinematic history was having Captain America shave his beard between Infinity War and Endgame.
Horrible. Huge mistake.
Huge mistake.
Captain America with a beard is just 10 out of 10.
We're supposed to be talking about this book?
We are.
Okay.
We are. Yeah, we are.
We are.
We're currently talking about the book.
This is an important plot point.
Here. Wait, but now, who
would
we
supposed
have...
to not talk about this?
Well, now who would we cast as Fyre?
I think Fyre?
Honestly, I think
somebody
Kristen
I hate.
Stewart
maybe.
Still.
No, she's so old. Are you kidding?
No, but I'm thinking if we could do a time machine, we could just do this instead of Twilight, because she'd still have the same. Just do the exact same level of acting.
I just had a realization. All these men we were talking about casting as Tamlin, a new mystery guy, as soon as we realized the fact that Fyre is supposed to be 19, I'm like, no, this has gotten creepy now, because all the guys who cast are older.
But fucking Tamlin's 400 years old, so fuck off.
True.
He's also 40.
I guess true.
Canonically, he doesn't he look 40?
I think he does.
So. Yeah, no, this got weird, because I was like, all right, cool. Because I'm thinking immediately, separate of the men we just discussed, who is a kind of a young up-and-coming actress, her earlier mid-20s, who's pretty and could totally play this kind of role. And then I was like, but then she's going to be playing opposite of a 45-year-old, and that's fucking weird. But
Hollywood will love that.
I guess that's Hollywood.
Considering how...
Sweeney, then.
No, we'll see. I was going to say, considering how disaffected and uninterested Fyre seems in just communication... of any kind, and just how off-putting she is. I think Billie Eilish. I think just put her on screen.
Oh, we're gonna play that card.
Whatever.
I was thinking of up and coming actress who's been in a lot of stuff recently. Rachel Ziegler, who was just in Hunger Games. Like she's a big name. She's pretty. She could totally. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if she fits the. I haven't really seen much of her acting. So I don't know
she's going to be in that bad Snow White movie where they made CGI dwarves, I believe.
Oh yeah, she's Snow White in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like
could get Florence
like
Pugh, who just could overact the shit out of it and be way too qualified for this movie.
I think Florence
Pugh is
qualified for this.
Maybe.
I mean, but Florence Pugh, she could play a younger character. She looks younger. I mean, she was just playing Yelena, and how old is Yelena? And
definitely
Black
not 30.
Widow.
Oh, I guess that's true. Idea. Yeah, she's 28 right now. So.
Oh yeah, that makes.
She
could play like an early 20s character, absolutely.
Plus, she was just in Oppenheimer playing a romantic interest for like a 50-year-old man. So this is easy.
Was she? Gracious, I didn't see Oppenheimer.
You should.
I was Team Barbie, and then I just haven't gotten back around to seeing it.
The whole point of the shit was that we went to see both, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. My wife and I saw Barbie, and I don't regret it. It's a second of it. Barbie ruled.
No, it was good. I agree.
But I think Florence Pugh, to Joe's point, I think Florence Pugh is overqualified.
Oh, of course
That's why
is.
It'd be good.
I mean,
she would be just like remarkably too good for the role.
You know who I thought of the other day, which we were talking about? Where the fuck did Shailene Woodley go?
I don't even know who that is. So I have to go.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, see, exactly. My point. She was the star of the Divergent movies. So she was like this big up-and-coming star, and then just like disappeared off the face of the earth after those.
I never saw the Divergent movies. Sorry to disappoint.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
It's funny talking about. My mind went to thinking about casting Fyre. My mind actually went to Jennifer Lawrence thinking about Hunger Games, and I was like, well, she's
also absolutely overqualified and too old.
Absolutely, she's overqualified.
No, we could get,
but I'm thinking of her Hunger Games days. It seems like a perfect fit. Because I'm honestly getting a lot of parallels between Fyre and Katniss, to be honest.
Oh no. No, this is the definitive answer. Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because you're right. Because they just need her to be like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they need her to do the same thing that she already did twice.
I do like Jenna Ortega a lot, but it is weird.
I like her a lot too.
Her playing opposite of like way older men, but again,
dude, that's gonna happen though. There's no way around it. That's just how the fucking thing is written.
That's the book we're reading. That's the next 40 chapters.
Something about putting it on screen though makes it different, right? Like you can describe like an early with Twilight.
No, they made a movie or a show out of this book.
No, what? No, they did not.
They didn't.
I would have heard about
this. They didn't make anything out of this. We looked into it.
No, they have not. No, I'm 99. I think Joe's trying to like do something.
He's trying to beast us, dude. He's beasting us.
He's for sure trying to play a prank.
I could have sworn they did.
I'm not interested.
No, they did not.
No, there's not.
I'm not playing into this, Joe.
Even during the first episode, we talked about this at the end of the first episode, and I went to look. So I was like, how is there not a movie? And I was like, oh, there's like a TV show.
Oh, it's in development.
Yeah.
Have they done any casting yet?
I don't think they did yet.
Well, that's what we're doing.
True.
Yeah, they're going to find our show, and they're going to cast...
They're going to listen to this podcast and be like, these guys are brilliant.
Okay.
What's Ariana Grande
we all said it here first.
But yeah, something about putting it on screen feels different than like if you're reading it on pages, you're like, oh, how fantastical that this 20-year-old girl is going to be dating a 500-year-old man. It's made up and fantasy, but as soon as you put it on screen and you put a 22-year-old actress against someone who's 50, it gets weird. I don't know why. It just because it brings it to our level. I don't know what about it. It just feels weird.
It does feel weirder.
Cast a dude in their 30s. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because especially as we now pivot into chapter 21.
Yes.
This is where... So we pick up after the handsome stranger, which we gave some good guesses on who that will be in the live action adaptation. But Fyre rebuffs his advances. He was seemingly coming on to her, but in not a salty way. So
it was less. It was less creepy. He was like, "Hey, I'll escort you around if you want. Are you good?" And she's like, "Fuck off! I don't trust you. You are too handsome, actually."
Yeah, he did make a comment before. When she, yeah, preach. So she did ask him, are you from the Spring Court? And he kind of as dickishly looks at her like, no, I don't have a mask on. Of course, I'm not from the Spring Court. And when pressed further as to why he's here, he responds, this is the sinister part of, on this night, it was like, the boundaries are unleashed and I'm allowed to, or what was it, like evil beings like myself are allowed to come out and play or something to that effect.
I don't know if he said evil, but I get what you're saying.
It was a word similar in effect.
Yeah, it was like everyone, all the darker corners of the fairy world are all on even footing today, and we all come out to, I guess, have an orgy. But yeah.
It seemed like one of those things was just like, well, they're all doing it, so we're all here to have fun. Like it's their like day of pleasure, right? So
it's a pleasure purge.
Yeah, absolutely, a pleasure purge. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's the episode name.
And then we find out as she then
she just runs away from this dude. Like I don't know how she's like. She gets absconded by 3 fairies and then saved, and then she's like, "Cool, I'm gonna leave again," and she just runs away, and then thankfully Lucian finds her.
Right, so she just runs away from. Okay, sorry, go on.
No, I'm sorry. We didn't give proper I don't know, credence is the right. We didn't adequately describe her plan. She shows up to this orgy party.
Calling it a plan is generous.
All she is wearing is just basically a hood on her head and is hoping that will allow her to mingle with fairies and not be noticed.
So it's her fault because of what she was wearing, Joe? Is that what you're saying? I got you.
No.
You're done. You'll never work in this town again.
Canceled.
What town? All towns.
All towns. I'm canceled.
But yeah, I agree, because she just literally is like, well, I bet I look like a fairy if I put a hood on. Ta-da!
Or there's no way these magic creatures will be able to tell I'm a human if I have a hood on my head.
And hasn't it already been covered by her that, like, humans have a specific scent to them? Like, they can, like Tamlin and others have, like, smelled her before, so I don't even know what she was thinking that, like, a hood would simply be enough of a disguise.
Also,
all right, so now that we're done victim blaming.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not blaming her for those events. We're just saying she's silly for thinking her disguise was adequate.
Yes. And also, when she runs away from these people, it's not like she knows these people could just catch her if they wanted. Like this handsome man. Like she's like, no, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and runs away. It's like, well, all right. I mean, to his credit, I guess he just kind of lets her go and doesn't worry about it. But, we are definitely going to see this guy come back in a big way. So he's from another court entirely, right?
Yeah, he doesn't say which court he's from. But
so this is something I don't think I knew, which is that, is it only people from the Spring Court that have been, cursed by the Blight?
Yeah, because I think the Spring Court were the ones that were having the party. Oh.
No, they're all cursed by the Blight, but the Spring Court is the only one that are cursed in the way that they have the masks grafted to their faces.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the Blight is affecting everybody.
Okay. It's just the Spring Court got supremely unlucky with that one, apparently.
Yeah, got real fucked.
Yeah. Okay.
So she runs into the woods, and then Lucian sees her and is like, or catches up with her, sees her, whatever, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yup.
And then brings her back home. Yeah, brings her back home to the mansion, and sits her down and is like, "Listen, girl. He didn't tell you, did Tamlin tell you what this is? No? Cool. Let me explain it to you." And then lays out the whole freaking orgy and sex party that Tamlin has to go through to restore magic to the fairies.
I was like, this is just one of those things where it's like, it's so sort of, I don't know, is contrived the word? Where it's like...
Contrived, yeah.
This is like, all of this lore and world building related to this Fyre Festival has basically just been in service of, how can I get Tamlin to a place where he's rapidly, like, trying to have sex with people that are not Feyre, and then animalistically is attracted to her, and then it's also not his fault. And it's sort of like she built up the entire rest of the lore around trying to get that idea to work. Does that make sense?
Huh? Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know if I'd say, I don't know. To give her, I feel like I want to give her a little more credit than that she wasn't intentionally writing this to be icky. I think it was...
No, that's not what I meant. Like, I'm just saying it's like a very bottom-up design, I guess, of to use game design terminology.
Yes. Yeah.
All of the... I think the Fyre Festival is just in pursuit of putting her in a situation where, you know, what happens in the next chapter where Tamlin's, like, really into her and is, like, unable to control his urges, but, like, it's an acceptable scenario because of all the magic stuff she's described, is what I mean.
Yeah.
And then she then ends up at the same time wanting it, so it's also just kind of a fantasy thing for the reader. It's clearly just a 50 Shades of Grey Twilight thing.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah, like she like Lucian is describing the situation to her, and not only is she's experiencing two emotions: one, jealousy of whatever girl that Tamlin gets to have his way with, and two, the general desire for that to be her. Well, I guess that's kind of there's a little bit overlap there, but like she's jealous of the girl, but also like she's like I want him to do that to me.
Yeah, which is like, this is a hard line to straddle.
To be fair, I don't think she understands when she's wishing that what it would feel like, and then she gets a glimpse of that later, and she's like, "No, actually, I hate this."
Yeah, I guess that's
end up hating it though.
Well, she kind of half did. She wasn't like super. She was experiencing like she had this internal conflict where she was like, "I want him, but not like this," is kind of what it felt like to me. Where like he was animalistic and just like going after her in a pretty aggressive way. And the vibe I got was that she was enjoying it because she wants him, but like it wasn't, you know, she wasn't really doing it with him. It was like this weird, like animal version of him.
Yeah, no, and this is not like an uncommon thing to happen in like romance novels and stuff like that. I definitely felt kind of, I'll say, uncomfortable during this scene with Tamlin and Feyre in the hallway.
Yeah. But I guess we kind of skipped over that. We kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but yeah. So a little bit, yeah. Yeah, so she hears all the partying happening, and then Tamlin gets back, and does she go to confront him?
No, she's
just like wandering around the hallway.
No, she's in her room, and she goes out to get a snack, and then hears him come back, and then
that's what it is.
Runs into him, and he's all still out of it from the ritual.
He's not as out of it as he was, but he's still like high on that horny drug, and he wants to have his way with her.
Yes. I don't like how many times we've said have his way with her in this episode.
I mean, to be fair, this
what
is
the
also,
book is.
And this was specifically written to be a fantasy. This part is very clearly not supposed to be like totally. The first chapter 21 or chapter 20 was obviously bad. This part is the more sexual fantasy side of these novels, where this part was fine because we as the reader were invested in this happening. So it's kind of the 50 Shades of Grey side of things, but.
I guess. I wasn't invested in it happening in this. Yeah.
It's a fantasy playing out in a controlled environment as the reader.
Yeah, I still felt uncomfortable. Just the way that
I did too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it starts off in like we just came off the tail end of this sexual assault attempt. Where is this gonna go? And luckily it took the right turns. But I was definitely thinking, okay.
Because what's the order of operations that actually happens while without getting too much in detail, he like kisses her and then bites her neck and then she slaps
Well, no,
her.
he first does the anime wall slam thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He slams her into the wall and then she like struggles.
Then he pins her to the wall by biting her on the neck, and then
that's what
he starts
I don't want to
licking
necessarily
her neck.
go. Okay, yeah. So he bites her on the neck and then licks her neck, and then she slaps because she definitely like slaps him away, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's the ending of it.
Yeah, she does. She does. Yeah, at the end.
She slaps him away, and then she calls him a fairy pig.
Which I don't. You know what? I'm not going to get into this. I don't want to talk about this. I was like, this is stupid. Just that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she calls him a fairy pig, and then the next morning comes around, and she's like, I have a fucking bruise on my neck from this dude trying to have his way. And
Jesus.
Fuck this dude. He should apologize. So she like brushes her hair behind her ear, so the bruise on her neck is extremely visible. Goes down to breakfast the next morning and sits in a way where both Lucian and Tamlin will have clear view of her neck. And then Lucian sees it and was like, yo, what the fuck happened to your neck? And then she's like, ask Tamlin. And then Tamlin is extremely unapologetic about it. And I'm
also unapologetic about it. I don't understand what's happening anymore.
Tamlin's response was weirdly, not the unapologetic part, but like the being mad part about it was kind of strange.
He was
okay, wait. I have a question before we continue here. Does Tamlin know that Feyre went out to the Purge Festival earlier, or does he just think that he found her?
Yeah, he does, because the
I
first
think
thing
he does.
says
He smelled
when he
her.
comes back is that he smelled her and was looking for her when he came out of like the cave.
Yeah, like he knew she was there because her stench had lingered or something like that. He definitely smelled her. So like he doesn't know the extent of it, but yeah, because then Tamlin is like, she doesn't deserve an apology. She disobeyed my order, so she deserved to have what happened to her. I'm like, Tamlin, gross, dude.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah,
it's like, that's icky.
It's not awesome.
That's what I'm saying. This whole part gets into I think a certain power play fantasy, because this whole chapter reads into the like, you disobeyed me part. And
that's like super, but Tamlin's going really hard on the victim blaming thing. He's
I'm saying
if
you read it in the context of that she is writing it for this purpose, it's weird, or like, it's not as weird if you read it in the context of this was the part where you as the reader are supposed to be into this. If you are like, or if you're into this, you're into this, I think is the point.
And I guess I don't want to shame or judge anyone who is into this. It's just I listen to this and I'm like, not my vibe.
This is clearly written as a power play sexual fantasy thing, at least in my mind, because
for sure.
Nobody involved. Because throughout the scene, she is talking about how much she is into it, but how much she doesn't want it, or not. Actually, not even how much she doesn't want it. She's more talking about how much she is turned on by all of it. So like the whole thing is
that's
written.
true. I mean, she does say that a lot. Like,
the whole thing is written as in that way, and then immediately after, everything goes back to normal and they are back in love again. So it's this.
Yeah. The
context of it all is very clearly that it was a wanted thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they have a weird sort of vibe at breakfast, and then later Feyre is like, these fairy pigs, I've drawn pictures of them, mean pictures, and then
those are the ones I want to see. I want to see Feyre's stick figure drawings of two of them as pigs.
They're absolutely stick figures. Are you kidding? Yes.
I did ask Alexa about this. We were driving while listening to this chapter, and I told Alexa, I was like, Alexa, there's apparently like a goof on the internet that Feyre's bad at art. And there's always kinds of funny pictures, and Alexa was a little defensive. She was like, "No, I think Feyre is actually supposed to be genuinely good at painting." I was like, "Fine."
That's a lot less funny for our show.
Whatever, that's way less fun.
So they're definitely stick figures with pig heads, and
yep, confirmed.
Yeah, so they apologize to each other. They both say "Oh, I overreacted," and then Tamlin gives her a bouquet of white roses from the garden, which is like, "Oh, okay, are we doing this now?"
And then And then she's like, I want to show you my painting. She like painted a very specific painting she wanted to show him. And then they go to the gallery, and he's like, that one's mid. Thanks, though. But these ones.
Yeah, these
and he
sad
goes and
ones?
flips through these other ones that you don't like. These are my shit. And he goes through and he's like, actually kind of like thoughtful, like honestly, genuinely, like as much as I'm kind of doing a goof, it seemed genuinely thoughtful that he was going through and looking at this and he recognized these. He understood, like, even though they're just rough drafts, they were painted with like actual raw emotion that Fyre felt, and he like recognized, like, oh, this is the forest you grew up in. This is your dad's bloody leg. And he's looking through these and like recognizing, he's like, man, Fyre's been through some shit. Like, he's definitely like understanding what she's been through, maybe her own demons she is fighting with, even if they don't necessarily compare to his. It's her own stuff anyways. And then he ends up picking the one he likes, is the one of her of the woods she used to hunt in, because it reminded him of like, what did he say? The painting of the woods reminds him that she understands him and then he's not alone. I was like, oh, okay, right. Like a little connection there.
Yeah, no, I thought that was like somewhat nice. You know, this chapter was all right. I kind of got the impression that like just being like royalty and all that shit, like Tamlin doesn't get exposed to this kind of stuff very frequently, and was like, oh, I'm connecting with this art. Like, I feel like a sadness and a struggle in it that I also have felt, and like it's kind of just, you know. I mean, it's the same reason people connect with art in real life, you know. But yeah,
people connect with art in real life.
Yeah, like this book.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good thing, at least to show that too, that the connection of, which there's a typo in Spark Notes. It's spelling Fyre with 2 E's, so it's Fyre.
Fyre, yeah.
No, I did like this part of just showing the genuine connection of, oh, Fyre has sacrificed a lot for the people she is supposed to care for, which, while on a smaller scale as a human, still the emotion and weight of it compares to what he has had to do. Because, to your point, in this overall court system, the people he has met are not going to have the same experiences that he had training as a warrior and what he intended to do and what he has had to do with his responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Fyre says, like, oh, I could go live somewhere else in Prythian, because I'm distracting you with my beauty. And he's like, no, please, no. And then...
there was a part of that, too. Like, he had mentioned that at some point, I can't remember which chapter this was in this block, but he had mentioned it was his fault for not sending her away at some point. That part of that was his selfish decision to keep her around, that he could have found her a safer place where she was less likely to meddle, which that's definitely not true, but in his mind that's what he's thinking. Yeah. But he wanted to keep her around just because he started finding her interesting and, you know, became romantically involved. But I thought it was interesting, just that more characterization to both of the characters, and or at least Tamlin as to why.
I'm curious when that happened, because like it seemed like he, I don't know, at least his intentions from the start always seemed like, hot human lady, I'll keep her around because I'm attracted to her. Like, it was never clear when he transitioned to, oh, actually romantically I like this woman. I don't know when that happened, because it seemed like he was interested in her.
I think it was when they went to go look at that little lake, when he like took her to that spot.
Oh, the pond thing?
Pond thing, yeah. That was mine.
Yeah.
I always got the vibe that slowly he was appreciating just her general ability to piss him off and constantly fighting everything. I think her general nature seemed to constantly or was slowly winning him over, I think.
Yeah, because I think, was it this chapter he mentioned that, like, usually, like, the women that it may have been during the exchange.
Yeah, no, it's this chapter where he's like, listen to me, I've fucked thousands of women, listen to me.
I've fucked
the hottest girls in the world, I fucked all of them.
But none of them are you.
Yes. Which,
Yeah, they're both so petty and jealous. She gets immediately jealous when he mentions he's looked at other people, or in that case, he was romantically involved with anybody else. He gets jealous whenever she mentions Isaac. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. People have have prior romantic partners. That's how life works.
Well, she did. I mean, she said she was jealous, and then she immediately, or no, she noticed that he was jealous.
Yeah. Well, she
like
was
he reacted kind of negatively. Yeah.
But yeah, and then she's like, "Oh well." Then he's like, "Well, none of them are you," and she's like, "Oh, darling," or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But and then so the chapter ends with it saying she left the door unlocked that night. Did they have sex, or is that supposed to be what I'm understanding?
No, I think that was more of a she finally feels safe. It's kind of what I took that as. Like, after however many weeks it's been of her locking her door because she feels like at any given moment someone's going to break in and try and kill her, which is whatever. But it feels like after that connection she had with him and the experience she's had, I think finally she feels safe enough to leave her door unlocked. It's kind of how I read that.
Oh, I took that entirely sexually, but the way you explained it sounds right.
That makes more sense. Also, there's a part where Tamlin does some sort of trick. I sort of zoned out, but they're sitting at a table, and then I zoned out, and a minute later they were talking about how Tamlin did a magic trick to the table, and it made him very tired. So I'm assuming that he did that thing where you pull the tablecloth off without knocking over any of the stuff on the table.
No, he made the table shorter, so they were having dinner just the two of them. But I guess we skipped over that part. But they were having dinner just the two of them, and one of those silly long old tables where they're it's a crazy long table and they're 30 feet apart from one another. And Feyre's like, "Oh, this table is so long, you're so far away." And then he snaps his finger, and suddenly the table is extremely short and they're right next to each other. And I have so many questions about that. Did she get close to him? Did he close to her? It didn't feel like she said that she felt like she moved. It's just suddenly the table was shorter and he was right next to her.
Okay, my head
she asked,
is that he
where
did
did the table go?
Thing. That's
I like your version better.
Yeah. But
okay.
And then she asks what happened to the table, and he says it went between. Imagine there's a between space where all the magic stuff lives, and it's kind of all right, this is some sort of magic explanation, but whatever.
Yeah,
well, I thought that was interesting, at least from a magic system perspective of establishing that they don't just create and destroy matter. There is a pocket dimension somewhere that these things all still exist in.
Yeah.
I don't know how consistent the magic system is going to be in this book, but I thought that was an interesting addition.
I'm interested to learn a little bit more about how the magic works. Hopefully that'll pop up in the future. But all right, well,
I do, because I am a sucker for magic systems. Like Brandon Sanderson, the way he always does his magic systems is super interesting. So I'm curious to hear if she's going to expand upon the magic system at all in this, and we'll learn more about how it actually works.
Yeah, although I could also see that easily being a thing she doesn't care about till the later books or whatever. So we'll see.
Which I'd be fine with. I don't know. I don't necessarily need her to do a deep dive into magic system if we're getting the Beauty and Beast retelling right now.
No, all she cares about is the magic of sex.
Nice.
All right, and on that note, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'm gonna. All right. My prediction for the next thing is that they are now officially into each other. So I think probably the next thing that they'll do is this when they would have their no. This isn't when they would do the ballroom scene. Right? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say because they're officially into each other, he's officially going to be into her.
That is
nice.
I thought we were going. That's the direction I thought we were going in, but I guess
no,
not.
Nero doesn't make those jokes. That's up to us.
That's true. I'm mostly just reference Beauty and the Beast. Okay, but
he's too afraid to let himself indulge in the jokes.
Okay. I think the hot ferryman that we met at the Fyre Festival is gonna return in the next few chapters, and it turns out that he has a very close history with Tamlin. Whether they're enemies or they used to be friends or something like that, rivals, whatever. But I think they have a close relationship of some kind, or a detailed relationship of some kind.
I agree. I definitely think they have some sort of past I don't know if we're going to see him again so soon, though. I feel like that was a seed planted.
Oh, you think it was a little tease? Okay.
I think it was a little tease.
Right.
Hopefully still this book, but I feel like it's a tease for a little bit later.
Okay, that could be fair. All right. Anyone else have a prediction?
I don't know about a prediction. I'm just hoping that we're at chapter 22, and at this point, we've established, a few teased characters. We still don't know why this treaty exists to allow him to kidnap Fyre in the first place, or what's going on with that. This series has seemed to create more questions than answers, and has only progressed the love interest plot and none of the actual other pieces of the plot. And we're like a third of the way through.
Yeah, I was thinking that I think we're going to get some information, because we got a tease of it in the last chunk of chapters with like that mysterious voice who showed up as a threat. I think we're going to get that threat back, and I think the way that's going to come back is someone saw Fyre at the festival, or like word, because if she went to the festival, word's going to spread that Tamlin is keeping a human in his castle, and that's going to shit's going to hit the fan or something like that. Someone's going to find out, and then that's going to be an issue.
No, yeah, that's 100%. Because he was the host of this whole festival, so yeah, that it would logically flow that the human resides in the Spring Court.
The Supreme Court?
Yep. Humans in the Supreme Court.
Okay. All right, speaking of the Supreme Court, please go vote.
Oh yeah, go vote.
If you're listening to this podcast, I'm just going to assume you're not voting for Trump. I'm just going to say that. Yeah. I'm just going to, if you've made it this far, there's just no way. Please go vote. Make sure to double check your registration and everything. There's some shenanigans going on. If you can early vote, please go early vote. It's a lot harder to mess with your vote if you go vote early. I've already done it. Woo.
I have my ballot sitting on my table right now. I'm going to drop it off soon.
There we go.
I'm going on Saturday.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back in, I believe, 2 weeks with our next set of chapters, and hopefully, I will say that things have definitely picked up a lot more. So like stuff has happened at least in each set of chapters, so that's something. So perhaps I feel like my opinion of the book is maybe like not as harsh as it was at the beginning, but my opinion of Fyre as a character has been lowering each time.
Mine hasn't been lowering, I don't think, but mine has kind of stayed pretty consistent.
Okay.
Consistently mid.
Fair enough.
I need something to happen. This book is devoid of plot.
We just did some plot.
We just had some plot.
Yeah, you had some plot.
Oh, sorry. Plot? Okay, sorry. This book is devoid of good plot. Sorry, I should have clarified.
Okay, well,
wow, savage, Joe.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you back in a bit.
Love this book,
and
though.
Until then,
everybody keep listening.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Just kidding. Love it.
Oh, my God. Let me say the thing.
Keep on trucking and support your local bookstores.